Hello, everybody. I'm tagging everybody in the Discord real quick. Hold on. Going live with the interview. Missed my time. I mistimed it. Sorry. I fucked that up. Okay. Anyway, here we are. Final exit interview of season 14, Big Brother Hometowns. We are talking to the fabulous, the wonderful, the marvelous Miss Angelica, our runner-up. How are you?
I'm better.
Listen, that has been the case for from AJ to Ryan. Every time I talk to them, it's like, yeah, I'm better now.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple days, but I'm all right.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You look lovely.
Thank you. I put on the makeup I didn't wear to finale because I didn't think I was going to be on screen.
I mean, neither did we. So like
No, I literally came phoned it in, wasn't even going to show up.
I mean, fairly enough. You had been through the ringer, and I'm sure we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
But post the game, how are you feeling about everything?
I am proud of the game. I think I'm ready to start talking to everyone. I really haven't answered many DMs, whether it was viewers or cast members or anything. I just needed a minute to not talk about it. But I'm also sad because I miss everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was an incredibly fun season. It was one of the best casts that I think we've had. Really, truly enjoyed everybody on the cast.
It's really interesting because when you go out in jury, your game is over, you grieve that, whatever. Then you still have jury, you still have finale to look forward to, you still have reunion to look forward to. You have all that. It's a process. But when you lose the game on the final night, it's just all over at once.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And
yeah.
It wasn't my first time.
Yeah.
Fortunately, yeah.
I know. Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better, and I'm glad that you're ready to talk about your game because honestly, girl,
What a ride.
Girl, you really showed out in this season, and I'm so I was telling you before this, I have been the conductor of the Stangelica train since the final 8 or 9.
Not since 0 when I posted in the house chat.
But
jump on board.
You were incredibly entertaining this throughout the game. I was rooting for your success, and we were all rooting for your success. And so to see you do so well was really fun ride to be along for. And Dan will be. If I don't say this, Dan will yell at me. Dan has been rooting for you. He drafted you. He said, Angelica, she's got it. She's got the thing.
Oh, his intro video shout out. I just got a phone call during the my intro video. I kept getting phone calls. I love and adore Dan All, someone I also have not responded to yet, but probably sent me the nicest message I got on that night. Oh my God.
So yeah, he's wonderful. So coming into the game, what were you just gonna be like, I'm showing up as myself, I'm just doing my thing? Did you have something you wanted to accomplish? Did you have a goal? How you wanted to do your strategy? What were you?
I can't show up as anyone else. I've tried. It doesn't work. That's one thing I know about me. You're going to get what you get. It all. I mean, night 1, starting the call for everyone to drink together. That's not game for me. That's it's kind of like that, the beginning of Winners at War, a drink before war. I am big on that. I just it's let's all have a little fun before this gets messy. And that's how I came in. I came in with low expectations. I saw a lot of fucking people I knew on the cast, felt a lot of different ways about it. And just, I had just played a game with quite a few people I knew, and it didn't go well at all. So I was just like, cool. Okay. Yeah, let's just see where it goes. But I did, and I said in my intro video, and I did, came in with the plan of working with the women. I really wanted to do that. And then there was Robert, which oh my God, it just, yeah, Robert Rigler. I saw him on day 0 and I was like, no one else matters. Nothing else matters. Robert mattered. Like, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lied to me within 2 days.
It's one of my favorite things about the first couple rounds was you giving Robert everything that you had, and then you figuring out that Robert was being a
Nothing.
little sneaky little minx,
Mhm.
and that was very fun. Obviously it changed what you thought the game would be to have so many people that you had previously connected with, like, and I think obviously with Robert being there changed it probably the most. But what about some of the other people that you knew? Like,
Okay, so coming in, I knew Robert. The person I probably knew the best personally, like as a human outside of the game, was Ryan. Ryan is probably the person I've clocked the most hours with on a friendship level out before this game ever started. So Ryan was probably the one I knew the best, but then I know Ryan. So I knew that didn't mean we were going to work together. I knew damn well from the very beginning. And I tried hard with him because I knew what it meant. And I know he's good. And I know he knows how I play inside and out. He's watched every game I've played. That when I've gotten voted out of any game, Ryan's the person that tells me where I fucked up. He'll get on a call with me and sit there and tell me everything from, you know what I mean? Like as a viewer after it's over. So he might know me better than I do, my game style. So that was like
scary. Yeah.
And the whole Ryan didn't want to work with people he knew. Like, yeah, I could have clocked that fucking immediately. I know Ryan. Tommy, I knew. And we have like a friendly relationship, but I don't think we've ever really played like hand in hand. Nikki, I knew. Again, like friendly acquaintance thing. And then anytime we've ever played minis together, she's come for me and been like, it's intimidating. So I was like, oh, fuck, let's work on like immediately, Nikki. Like, I can't do that. Erica, I knew like, again, as like an acquaintance and really liked. And then AJ, I've always really liked. But again, like we've never like,
interacted in any way.
Like we don't like, like we've interacted, but we don't like talk regularly or anything. And then Danielle, I had met a few months ago in an Are You the One drinking mini, and we were perfect matches.
Right.
So that was immediately what I started talking to Danielle about. I was like, hello, perfect match. Yeah, so those are I think that's everybody that I knew coming in. Robert, Ryan, Erica, Danielle, AJ, Tommy, Nikki. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like, I mean, what I felt like you did really well was utilizing those relationships, but not shying away from making new connections. And obviously there were some people that didn't accomplish that. They only played with the people that they knew, and that got them in trouble. I have to post this on the screen, and I want to get your reaction. So day one, the plague competition, 9 a.m. Angelica live confessional. 4 p.m.
I said people. I did not exclude myself.
So like you told us in your interview, like, I am me. What you see is what you get. What you know about me is what you're gonna get. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's for the good and the bad.
Right, exactly.
The good and the bad.
So when in day one, you're plagued by Lance. Girl, you weren't even like nominated.
Okay, but Nikki like immediately tells me that Lance asked her, or maybe it wasn't me, it was somebody. Somebody told me that Lance had asked them if he could plague them, and they were like, "Oh no, thank you," and he like moved on. Motherfucker never. Sorry, Josh. Never asked me. I know I tried so hard at finale. The finale, I think I failed multiple times.
It's okay.
Anyway, Lance never asked my permission, never even gave me a heads up. No, and that's why what I said in the house chat day one was like, "Oh, I guess we're skipping courtesy here," and was I wrong? No, he should have fucking gave me a heads up.
Okay, but the issue I take with that was you didn't tell you didn't ask or tell AJ afterwards.
Yes, I did. AJ had started a one-on-one chat with me that was not in prod, and I'm pretty sure I sent you guys the screenshots.
Okay.
Because I realized that y'all didn't know that I had asked
Okay.
him. Because the chat he originally started with me was just the two of us. It
Okay.
wasn't
And that's context that we didn't, because I remember being there that
I
day
think
and
I
being
sent
like,
the screenshots from it to my prod chat
you
because
may
I
have.
knew, yeah. But yeah, I did say, AJ, can I play you here? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like, cool.
Okay. That's funny because I didn't know. I don't know if that got
I get.
to us.
I think
fully,
I
but
realized that it was gonna look like that, and that's why I made a like. I thought I sent those screenshots.
That's
Maybe
so
I did,
funny.
maybe I didn't. But yeah.
So throughout the early part of the game, I felt like you really connected well, obviously with Erica, like and you after, but not until. Sorry, let me back up. You already said this, but Robert, you were like, immediately, I'm going to do everything with Robert. This is going to be the thing. I can't help it. And then Robert lies to you about some things.
He doesn't. Well, he keeps it from me.
Yeah, he doesn't lie. He just
Messes up as soon as I
omits.
ask him about it.
Right.
But he does not offer the information like I had been offering him everything I was doing. He was not really telling me what he was up to. And I've gotten burned in that way before. The very last game I played, I went in with someone who I'd played, you know, in lockstep with before. It was like, oh my gosh, amazing. Thank you. Like I said, I put on the makeup I didn't wear to finale. So I played with someone in lockstep, like in one game. And then we showed up another game together, and I was like, I just blindly trusted him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Polo Gomez. But I blindly trusted him, and he fucking.
It's okay. This is not
Okay, good.
being
He was
streamed
not
to
he
like
was
a public.
not loyal to me like I was loyal to him, and I've had that
Right.
experience. So you learn from your past mistakes. Like when I play another game and somebody tells me they're not taking me to finals, I'm gonna prepare a speech. You know what? I live and I learn. But so once Robert did that, I just got these major Polo Padlock vibes, and I was like, oh, I can't put everything into someone like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty sure that's when I made the confessional where I went, Erica Petrula's gonna jump your place in line.
That's right. That is. And that's the start of this really powerful duo that you and Erica have throughout the course of the entire game.
You know what's something it was you know, not have to do with game, but that Erica told me either on our first and second call that like solidified to me that we could do this. She was talking about hanging out with like her siblings or something, right? And her sister, and she said her sister was like 30 or 31 or something, or like I don't know, she's around my age. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. Because we get along really well in a way that I have trouble when there's a 10-year age difference. Like sometimes it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not on me, it's not on them. It's just the way the world works. Like I would have been like that in my early 20s too. So, but once Erica said that to me, I felt really confident that like she would get me and
Mm-hmm.
like and wouldn't have like preconceived notions that I think sometimes people do. And I was like, okay. And that really like that's when I was all in, when I was like, we have a relationship like she has with a sister.
Yeah. And you mentioned that several times throughout the course of the season about like feeling like the age gap between you and some of the other contestants. But I also felt I agree with you, but I also felt like you did such a good job of connecting with the cast. Every time I get on a call or every time I see you like on your
I
things,
live like I'm fucking not like I don't what do you mean?
I don't know. I just feel like they
right now, like you know.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't feel like it was an issue overall, even though it was probably something that you were cognizant of. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I just was.
I think it's something I'm kind of insecure about too, because when I was that age, my age now was old. Oh, but guess what?
Right.
You're gonna be there before you fucking know it. You're gonna be
Yeah.
there soon, and you're not gonna feel any different. You're not gonna feel like this adult that you're supposed to be. I don't know. Maybe you will. I hope you do. But like, I don't. So like, I don't know.
Yeah. So you and Erica go on your mission to start to build and position yourself in the game. You make an alliance chat with Nikki. You make an alliance chat with Courtney.
Meatballs was an alliance I wanted to have before the game started.
just because you
in my
that's
head.
just something you came
That's
up with?
Jersey Shore, and I knew I wanted to work with women, so I was like, I'm gonna find a couple women, make a meatballs line, and then Nikki, I originally named our chat that because Nikki
Right.
and I like always interact on Twitter when it comes to Jersey Shore things.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we added Erica into that, and then I really liked Courtney from the very beginning, so I wanted to bring her and Erica together. And I wanted Robert to fit into all this, but my first time I talked to Eric about Robert, she said she didn't know she got good vibes. I was like, oh, fuck.
You're like, oh no.
I'm gonna need you to vibe more. I talked to Robert. I'm like, go talk to Erica. Maybe Avenas too early.
I'm struggling to remember, but I don't think you had any other alliances outside of those two at the very start.
Started, I think.
You and Ryan and Robert. That's right. But I don't really count that as an alliance. I'm gonna be honest.
Ryan knowing how much I loved Robert, so like putting us in a chat together. We never once got on a call. He never said anything in that chat. Yeah.
Right. So
social king Ryan Taylor.
But you managed pretty much through the beginning of the game to stay relatively clean in terms of like drama, in terms of people thinking that you were like doing too much, people thinking that you were inactive. You kind of just were able to just get very strategically get through.
At the very beginning, like round 1, when he was doing his noms, he told someone he didn't want to be on my bad side. And I don't mind that. I'd like everyone to feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a good place to have them.
And you are part of this coalition that comes together to take out Tommy, take out Abby, and target Daniel. Talk through that. How that comes about and your position within that.
I'm pretty sure I said in a confessional around that time that I liked Daniel and I didn't want to work with anyone he was working with. And y'all were like, well, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, take out every single one of his allies.
That's true.
Tommy, Abby, Courtney, like just
Jabbar.
Yeah, Jabbar. He got Robert there in the middle, but like I pretty much completed that mission. I wish I would have thought about that on finale night. It's fine.
Do you and then at that point in time the Men Are Trash comes about. So like was that that was something that I felt like you were pretty loyal to in terms of wanting it to be real and wanting it to be your alliance.
It was all people I was working with, so I was cool with it. That's where I wasn't info dumping. I think the issue was, and Courtney and I talked about this a little bit after, was that we were not working with the same people. So while our individual relationship was strong, I could sharing that info in a group chat with people she did not want to work with. Like it would have been better if all those conversations would have been one-on-one with her. Mm-hmm. I think she would have been less likely to leak the things I was saying had it been direct.
Yeah, she didn't really have a lot of trust or faith in Robert or Danielle or Erica. So
right.
This is a good moment, one of your good moments. Tommy D can go.
Carlo, Tommy D can go.
Yeah.
I love that confessional where I'm like, that would be a bad word, so I will bleep myself. But I was like, Tommy DeCarlo needs to step his up when it comes to me. I have that saved on
my phone. So I guess we have to talk about the leak, the Men Are Trash leak. From you. The screenshot that really you could have gotten off from scot-free because everybody who saw it already knew about it, but you didn't know that. And it sent you into a little bit of a dizzy.
I don't think that was about the game at the moment.
That's true. And that was other things.
Not having a good night. And then like I was behind on those puzzles. And it was all not the games, but they were all things I felt like I could do and just was like, royally fucking up for no reason. And then I did that and I was like, I am done. I'm done. But like, I would have loved to have gone head to head more with Ryan in that Tetris because I originally had the highest score and then he blew me out of the water. And if I was like there and present during that comp, that would have been a fight.
Yeah. So coming out of that, like, were you worried that you had like ruined trust or ruined your position, or like what was this like? I know there were you said there were other things, and that's totally valid. But like for
That
in the
was
game
the
sense,
HOH that wait,
Lands won that.
and who went home? Abby?
Abby,
Yeah.
Abby and Daniel were the noms.
I think that's when I was oh god, I've never talked to Ryan about this, but Ryan complained to me so many times about the rumor that him and Jabbar were so close. Bitch, I said it to everybody. He would come to me and be like, everybody thinks this, and I'd be like, it's crazy. Where that's coming from. Who's doing that? So I think that Jabbar seeing it, Jabbar handled it really well and was like, I got you, don't worry about it. And it's because he already knew. I should have seen the signs. That's one like place where I didn't have like the best read I could have. Like when Ryan fucked up and said that Jabbar was gonna be next to Lance on Jack's HOH, I called that he was doing that hours before he did it. I said he's gonna flush Jabbar's advantage. Jabbar's never gonna stay on the block here. I felt it. He was doing he was in there. So I should have felt it when Jabbar took it really easy on that and didn't even ask me like for names or anything like that. So I started to feel this like Jabbar and I are on different sides of the house, like just because like that we still weren't talking game after that leak. He was just like very cool about it, which I loved. But like I think I should have seen it a little bit more, but then at Live Night when he had people he wanted to save, that was it. I mean, me and Robert go on the block and it was just
yeah, that was a tough night for you. Tough night for you in the game.
Fuck night though. That's a night you'll think back to, like in like orgs in general. Like at least for me, like playing, I'll think of that night. You know what I mean?
No, it is one of the defining moments of the season. Not because ultimately like Robert leaving was like something that we were rooting for or like wanted. It was just something that like it was a big move. It took Robert at that time was a huge power player.
No, I was not happy about the veto com after the flub. I things to say. Because Jabbar had messaged the chat after that and said, oh, looking at YouTube for the frog spoons or whatever. So I knew he knew about the frog spoons. And like, if he would have won that veto, I would have had so many words.
But like, yeah, there's so much about
there's
so much about Live Night that makes it great.
What I was about to say is that's a great live veto comp because it really is like all encompassing of like all these different skill sets and that mixed with adrenaline, mixed with like any sort of game you could play, like all in one game, and then all the adrenaline, like that was cool. Yeah. Well, touchy subjects, you guys are fucking assholes.
It was, I mean, that was fun. It was fun for that reason because it's touchy subjects.
Lance being off camera for touchy subjects and getting like all the mean ones.
But it was so close. I mean, it was like 9 to 8, and you and Robert both like threw answers off like at times to like that were like obvious answers, and you guys could have won and taken the power, but the underdog and Daniel rises to power. Like it was very fun for those reasons. You have your moment, you get 12 get-ups, and you like you said, adrenaline mixed with anything.
And that is so embarrassing, and I don't even care.
No, it was amazing.
How fun.
Me and Crystal were on the live stream, so we weren't on the Zoom. We were watching the Zoom, and we were live streaming on the page. And Crystal and I are like living our best life. We're like, you better get it, bitch.
I was like, literally, when I picked a number, I was like, okay, I don't want to like get knocked out and be the lowest, but like, I also like, I am not doing this. So I got 12. Like,
we were absolutely
like 4.
Yeah, it was amazing. No, it was incredible. We were Crystal and I were absolutely living, and like, because we were like, we were rooting for Daniel to make a big move, right? The underdog gets power, make a big move. The right move for Daniel in that moment was to put you and Robert up. Then Crystal and I were like, all right, one of these people for Team TV, we need one of them to win the veto. And then we're like, Angelica has to do 12 get ups. Oh my God. And then you're like, you're like, you're just hustling. And we're like, oh my God, she's going to do it. We're like,
that last one was like 5 seconds. Yeah, that was.
It was amazing.
What a night. And then the 24-letter word.
That was, and well, in that, yeah, you're exhausted, your adrenaline's
I'm
going.
like, I literally can't breathe, and then we bet on the word, and then now I have to do that. Yeah.
I remember you did that. You were like, what's the longest word you can spell? And it was like 24, and I was like, what the fuck is she thinking?
I wrote it out real quick and count the letters, but I said 23. But the argument on that is I do think I still win there, which you guys like decided.
Yeah.
But because like think about frog spoons, like Jabbar bet 2, but if he would have done 3, he would have won.
Right.
So that's why like I spelled a 24-letter word. I think.
Oh yeah, we didn't have an issue with that. I don't. Yeah, we didn't have.
I was worried for a second. I was like,
yeah, you did it, and then you're like, oh shit, it's 24. You're like, I don't know. You're like waiting with like.
Well, Josh goes, "What'd you bet?" And I said 23. I showed it to him again. He goes, "How many letters was the word?" And I was like.
Yeah. That's impressive.
But I think that worked out actually perfectly because I think I would have bet too low on that puzzle because I was going a little crazy with my numbers there, obviously. Like saying I can memorize 20 cards. That's the first thing Ryan said to me after that call. I got on a call with Ryan. He goes, 20. He goes, memorize 20 or tell me 20 playing cards right now. And I was like, no, I can't. No, I wouldn't be able to do that. But so I think that if the wheel would have taken Danielle out instead of me at the spoons round, right? Because that was a wheel.
Yeah.
Danielle and I bet the same thing. If it would have gotten Danielle, I think I would have said like 1 minute and then lost.
Okay. Interesting.
I think Robert goes, but like
I think Robert still goes in that
Danielle vetoing me was a good for our relationship.
It was. Yeah, it was really good. It ended up being really good. They had and I think like for you guys in that moment as a group of 5, there was no way in you guys thinking that Erica would be the person that would be the renom. Like, but because you didn't know that Courtney had already leaked the chat. So when Jabbar and Daniel and Courtney are talking about what to do, they're like, well, if you want Robert to go, you need to put up someone that all of those girls will vote to stay. And that was Erica. And so they played that night really well, the 3 of them. Unfortunately, it just got them in a lot of danger.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It showed a lot of cards. It also like I think Danielle using the veto showed that Danielle asked her not to. Like it fractured it fractured the house in other places.
Yeah.
Like it really was set up. And then the next 2 HOHs not doing anything in their own interests really just made that easy. Like, I'm sorry, you tell me that Jack and Ryan are right? It was Jack and then Ryan are going to be the next 2 HOHs and Courtney and Jabbar are going to go?
Yeah, it makes no sense. But I think it's such a strength of like like your social game, but also the people that you were working with, you guys working together in tandem to
Daniel going around screaming that Erica and I are a duo.
And then y'all being like, okay, bet. Like, so also though, stop targeting us.
And we're just like, Daniel's nuts. Like, what's he talking about? Yeah.
It was impressive. I mean, and that's the point in the game too, where you guys really seize total control with the Revengers, you and
I think so too.
And Erica and Danielle and AJ. Talk about how that came about. What was your position in that you perceived?
Eric and I already had 3s of both of them. We had Hi, Hello, How Are You? And Powerpuff Girls, which I hate that was the alliance of the season because what a terrible alliance name. I'm so sorry. I don't like it. I love them both. I don't like the name. I can't say it with a straight face. Anyway, although Hi, Hello, How Are You?
Which is so funny. Is that? So funny.
Which did you notice that like I like very trolly like would message other people that I would like go to Danielle in our one-on-one chat like day and just be like, "Hi, hello, how are you?" I knew what I was doing. But so we already had those threes, and they obviously kept saying they liked each other because obviously, and so it made sense for all of us. But then I think me sprinkling to Jack at the same time, which Erica was never on board with, being like, "You and Daniel are being seen as a duo. Erica and I are being seen as a duo. Like the four of us need to look out for each other." They kept pitching it back to me, and I was like, "Oh no, I wasn't serious. Erica doesn't want to do that." But they had hope in that, which I think was.
She wants me to make sure that you know she's still watching.
Wait, what do you think I'm gonna say? I hope you fucking lose. Like, why?
But
Watch it all.
yeah.
I was with Erica like to the death, and that's you knew that. Like everybody knew that. That was the number one priority. Was not even just getting to the end; it was getting to the end with Erica from like pre-jury. Remember my final three plan originally?
I
It was
don't.
Robert and Erica. They both take me.
That's true. Yes.
It was. I always knew I wouldn't win a final three HOH, so I always wanted to get there with two people that would take me. But I thought I accomplished it with Ryan and Erica.
So did we.
For a minute, I was. Remember when I was drunk messaging my pro chat like the night that Danielle got voted out? I was like, I just won that game.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Next day, I'm crying.
No, honestly, there was a point the day before it all happened that you, Erica, and Ryan all messaged your prod chat saying, I think both of them take me. Like all three of you said that. Like all to each
That's
other.
insane.
Like you guys were
That's
all
so cool, actually.
It was very, very funny. I was like, I messaged the Discord, and I was like, I think they all think that they're all getting taken.
Yeah, that's wow.
You guys were playing very high level in the end. Like honestly, the first like 6 or 7 rounds of the game, we were like, is this season going to be good? Like because from a character perspective, it was amazing.
Well,
from like
boots though, there was no strategy to
right,
no
right.
gameplay.
But there was also bad strategy happening. Like Robert destroying their game. Like Robert destroying his game was really bad.
That's like, Robert though. Robert is full throttle. Love you if he's watching or sees this. I'll tell him this to his face. Full throttle out the gate and self implodes. Like that's just it's got so much energy that it just like blows up. And it's just great player, but like no.
And it was just I remember like, and for what, Robert?
With Robert. So I was still trying.
Yeah. So okay, let's get back to it though. The Revengers come. You guys really seize control of the entire game.
Yeah. And then Erica gets put on the block the next round.
But still, even within that, you still had.
So we started 5 with Lance to ensure she has the votes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything was for a purpose.
Yeah. You guys really dictated the boots of Courtney, Jabbar, Daniel, Jack, Lance himself, and then it gets down to this really.
And then I take out AJ and she takes out Danielle. Boom, boom. Yeah. That's crazy.
Did you ever consider doing anything other than the Revengers? Like, was there a point in time when Jack and Daniel and all of them?
No, okay, not at the double. Well, Jabbar going, Courtney and Jabbar going, those were no. And then the double, I wanted Ryan to stay, but I wanted Lance and like maybe Daniel to go, but Jack was always gonna go. That's the thing. Like I did feel good with Jack at that point. Jack had screwed his own game up so much that like there was no saving Jack. Like I talked to everybody that round. Like I talked to Danielle, AJ, Erica, and Ryan, all like to feel him out about like, and what if Jack won that saved? And they're like, nah, absolutely not. Move on. Like it was just like I'm moving on. Like so like Danielle's like, no. And AJ's like,
Y'all are a mess.
Like, you know what I mean? So like that was just not possible. But at that point, I just like, but it wouldn't have been for a Revenger. Final 6 was when it started that I think I would have maybe turned earlier, which we had to turn at 5. So it would have been just one round earlier. But I really wanted Lance to go at Final 6 because that's Erica's side, not mine. At
Yeah.
least the other ones
And you,
at least the other people in the game we all had like somewhat equal relationships with, like maybe stronger in some places and weaker in the others, but like
right.
fluidly, like with Lance, he was clearly more like if me and Eric are on the block, he's got that final vote to evict. Like,
Mhm.
bye.
And well, and like again, you had another amazing read. I mean, that's the thing I haven't said yet in this context, but your reads were incredible this season. You really just have this like sixth sense to understand and know. And that at that point in the game, you said to us in your prod chat, you said, "Oh, okay, and Erica doesn't want to lose lands." So so that's not good for me. And somehow well, honestly, we thought you were done at Final 6. And we were like this sucks. Like we were like, we don't want this. Like because you were playing so well, but we figured that they would recognize that and that they would take you out there. And so how do you manage to stay at against lands at Final 6?
I think those were individual relationships. Like, I think that individual relationship with Danielle much better over Lance's. I had that one. That one's probably the easiest one to get out of the three of them. AJ, he definitely saw it from like a sympathetic point. Like I think AJ like really like was like, yeah, no, you can't go out here. Like we've been together. Like we gotta ride it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then Erica, I think Erica just knew that there was no, from my point of view, I just had to prove to her there was no way I was turning on her moving forward.
Gotcha.
And you know what I mean? Like losing either of us would have sucked for her game. I just needed her to realize that losing me would have been worse. Which I think is true.
Oh, I fully remember saying, what is Eric? Yeah, we were like, what is Erica thinking? Like,
yeah.
Angelica is 100% taking Erica to the end, and it will be a tooth and nails fight between the two of them for the win. Like, but that's her best shot right now because she was burning people left and right. We're like, girl, your best shot of getting there.
Yeah,
is with Angelica.
And at least we were burning people together, so it would have been
right.
Yeah.
So then we have to talk about this. You win your first comp ever at the Final 5 HOH. How did that? I mean, I know that
it makes sense. The comp itself makes sense that I won. It was like a major advantage in that comp was the night before I was on the block and very nervous. And I scrolled through almost the entire house chat, just trolling the chat with quote messages of other people. So like I sent one from like, I don't know, Danielle a week ago that said she's trying her best.
Like, you made my life so hard because I couldn't use any of those after after you had quoted you had quote messaged them. I couldn't use any of them, so I was like looking through things, and then I'd have to like cross reference it. Versus,
I post that in the chat the other night. Well, it was helpful because I had scrolled through a lot of the chat, so even things I didn't remember reading the night before, I had more context for, like specifically the question about Jack after the blind maze. Did Jack say that comp was out of sight? Well, I don't know, but I read a joke that Ryan said to unsubscribe from this message, say yogurt. And Jack said, that's a cultured response. And so as soon as I heard the out of sight joke, I was like, this is Jack joke. He absolutely said that. Like, that's why, like, you know what I mean? So like context of who the fuck these people are. Like, I don't like, yes, I do. It makes sense. I won that comp.
Yeah. Well, we were very happy for you. We kept saying like, would love to see Angelica win a comp. Like just to like what that moment would be like, what that reaction would be like.
Oh, I almost won the knockout.
You did. You were on top of. You were very close in several competitions, and so like I was frustrated.
Yeah.
No, I was very frustrated by watching the finale of this whole narrative of like you were bad in the comms. Like, okay, you didn't win 10 comms. Okay.
I should have pointed that out more, that like I was pushing the narrative to get myself for, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But look how I actually did, guys. Like, you know
Right,
what I mean?
you were
I should have
yeah,
spoken that out.
you won a comp, you were close to winning several others. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
like you were a flop.
Only in the pigeon.
This. We were
Ryan.
I don't know who it is. I can look. Hold on. We
Because I
can't.
talked to
Oh,
I
think it's Robert.
Ryan, as soon as that comp was over, I said, "You couldn't let me have one." And he said 10,000. And I was like,
Let's see. Person, I don't know who you are, but if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook and link your account, then the next time you comment, we can see who you are. Anywho, so yeah, so I mean, you were no flop in these competitions by any stretch of the imagination, but like seeing you get your first win, I know that like was such a good moment, a cool moment.
I was like ahead from the beginning because they all got the first question wrong
Yep.
about Robert. Because he, like, of course he said, what did he say? Like, "Hey, Bill." Yeah, it was 2 lands. It was a trick question. That was easy. But by being like ahead on the first question, just like gets like, I don't know. It's just like,
yeah, I could feel I felt your confidence growing. And that morning, I was literally like telling Carl, I was like, this is the comp Angelica can win. This is like right up her alley. We manifested it on morning tea with CLC. I pulled my candle out. We were manifesting it. Like, it was a good moment. It was a good day.
that was a fun one. But then that HOH, okay. So I had to nom Ryan. I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was literally, I said this in the game and it was completely true. It was because Erica could have went on the block.
Yeah.
I could have lost Erica right there had I not put Ryan on the block, because if he wins veto off the block, he's pulling AJ off.
Yeah. Oh, he would have done it just to mess with you.
The block for my HOH, the two, Danielle and Eric on the block, he would do it absolutely. And then I lose one of them. That is not my best path forward. Absolutely not at that point.
Yeah.
Erica at that point's like at the seams to get Danielle out. So I'm like, that's a perfect next round. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, they need to come for each other. But like, Ryan was always going to choose AJ in any situation.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so. So it really becomes the final 6 to the end. It really does become this narrative of, can we get Ryan out of the game?
Final 5, I did get to brigade Ryan Taylor though. And I
did.
And
I feel like out of everybody in that alliance, you were the person who was wanting to keep Ryan. And you were the person who kept saying, I would play the veto on Ryan if I won. At 6, you said it at 5. I don't know if you would have actually done it at 5, but you said it at 5 too. Like,
no, not while I was the HOH, because then I would have had to put Erica, right?
No, because you would have been able to put up Danielle.
Oh, okay.
Because he was on the block. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure you said at 6 and 5, you said, watch me win this veto and pull Ryan down and make
my finals mad. 6 confessional, like the confessional. When I do talk about the game in that confessional, I say, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm not afraid to sit at the end with Ryan Taylor.
Mm-hmm. And in that moment at that time, in that moment at that time was the correct read.
That was wrong. Yeah.
It was not an incorrect. It was a correct read. It was like absolutely right.
Final 4, I think any of them would have taken me to the end. I felt confident.
I think so. I thought so too. Like, and that's why you were at the top of my power rankings from the final 6 onward to the end of the game, because I thought you had the best chance of getting to the end and winning at the end. And
I was planning it out too, though. I think other people who think they can win when they need to don't have to like think about it as much. But like, I really fucking think about it. How's this gonna work? How are we gonna do this?
So you and Erica come to power basically at the end game at 5 and 4. You guys perceive AJ and Danielle as your biggest threats. Obviously, you can't touch Ryan because of his winning.
So you watch Wheel of Fortune, because that was the most emotional I've been in this game, and that's saying a lot because we saw Robert evicted in my last day. But I was screaming watching Wheel of Fortune. I just wish I was playing. Like, I was so happy I won the final 5 HOH until that moment. I was like, no. If we could have just switched wins there, I think I could have won that final 4.
Oh, I think you knew the answers before everybody else in your project.
Even before Ryan's answer, like I knew all the puzzles. That was my
Yeah.
call. God damn it. Should have spaced those out differently.
All right, I'll rig it better next time. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. Like that final 5 comp could have been the final 6 comp, and then I go,
So you guys perceive,
man.
we can't take Ryan. We're not taking each other. So obviously we have to get out these other threats and Danielle and AJ, which was very emotional couple days to make those things happen. But you ultimately find yourself.
I think Erica and I were in lockstep during those rounds too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were just like talking to each other about how do you want to handle this? How do you want to handle this? Like being respectful, not trying to piss each other off in an end game. You know what I mean? Like I think we handled that really well. We could have imploded earlier because we didn't always agree.
Right. Well, that was because she wanted to take you out at some point, but
also because she was not sold on taking AJ out over Danielle at Final 5.
Right. And I will say, I think I would give you more credit in that happening because you were the one who had the correct read about Ryan, and you kind of had to convince Erica that that was the correct thing to do.
Yeah, at that point, I think if Danielle goes there, the final 3 is a combo of and then Erica wins final 4 veto. Maybe AJ does go. I don't know, but
he may have taken a shot at you. I don't think so in that scenario. I don't think she would have taken you out over AJ, but
even if the comp wins were different, which I didn't know yet who was going to win what, there was a higher likelihood of one of the two of us going had AJ stayed versus Danielle.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jack and the analytics. That was my data.
So let's fast forward to finale. You get a phone call from Ryan where he says, "Listen, Ange, I'm sorry, but I'm taking Erica." And you were like, "Okay, good luck," and you just hang up the phone.
I didn't say good luck. He said good luck to me when at Final 5 he called me.
That's right.
He was because we had 2 hangups in our game.
That's right.
At Final 5, he called me as soon as I won the HOH and said, like, I got like 5 minutes. I just want to know, am I going on the block? And I was like, Ryan, I mean, honestly, you're in the final 5 of the 4-person alliance. And he was like, who? You, Danielle, Erica, AJ? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, good luck. That was the entire conversation. So then when he called me, Erica wasn't answering and said, give me 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes, 12 minutes go by. They both call me at the same time. Right. And like, I just so happened to hit join on the Ryan. Like they both came in at the exact same time. So it was just like, and then he was like, yeah, that's when he was like, Andrew, we made it just like, and you made a deal to take each other. So I'm really sorry. And I just,
yeah. And then you go to Erica and you're like, I can't believe he just said this. Please tell me that this is not true. And she does not say that.
I'm here if you need to talk. How are you feeling?
But she never says.
I know.
Like and I don't know if you caught it in the moment, but like looking like she
was not. Yeah,
she was not committing to taking you to the end, and you kept saying to her, like, we're gonna get to the end, like we can do this, like you know this is you, and she just kept not committing to doing it, and you panic.
That's when she begins to spiral.
Yeah. You had a very hard day. Very hard day.
An hour after part 2 of Final HOH, when Ryan wins, calls me, does that. That's when I make the confessional that was not posted, where I am hysterically crying, just hysterical because I feel it. Like Erica has still not told me either way, but like I just feel it.
Yeah.
And then I like an hour later, I'm like, I'm good.
You were much more mellow.
Context for this. I'm sorry. It's not over till it's over. I thought I could work on Erica. If anything, like it's okay. It might not be over. I might be thinking too much into this, blah blah. But then the next morning.
Yeah, the next morning she decides
to come. Not send an audio message. She sends an audio file.
Hello, sorry, I'm in the bathroom at my work, but I know that this is going to be longer than 2 minutes.
Exactly it. That's literally the script. Yeah. But in a whisper. In like this calm ass voice when it's like the most not calm information I'm receiving. Like, hey, I just wanted to.
Hey, I'm here to wreck your dreams, but
Like, I'm just like really like I'm reading a book to a child at bedtime tone in the bathroom. Fans blowing. Yeah. Mm. I went on break at work, but I hadn't listened to it yet. But like the next like few text messages after it were like, I'm really sorry.
yeah, you're like, I wonder what this said.
Again, like I was like pretty prepared. You read the text and I was like, fuck off. And that's when I got in my car, I listened to it, and then just started yelling back into my phone. Yelling.
Mhm.
Should I called it a bitch move.
It was funny in like from our end. What was funny about that was not that you guys were upset, but it was the fact that Erica came to her prod chat and goes, "Can someone listen to that message and tell
That
me
was
what
the
it
very
says?"
last one, but the first one was like, I don't respect it. You listen to that one. And she was like, I can't ask you for me doing something that hurts your game to respect it. Um,
You're like, spoiler alert, I don't.
that was ooh. I went like from like crying to like every time I responded, just like literally saw red anger, and like I think I maybe 7 times screamed in my phone, I wouldn't have done this to you. Like that was intense.
It was hard to watch because I knew
Sure.
that it was hard for her. I knew that you were going through it. We both knew like we all from a production standpoint, we
Mutual messages, the house chat right before finale. Fight hard and fair. Okay.
I did.
Not very pointed. Everybody's like, stay composed tonight.
We knew you had been through it, girl. We were just trying to be
Like
supportive.
I'm like, I got it. Thank you.
Well,
I won't
and
ruin your night.
well, listen. You were
As soon as
it
it
would
went
not
out,
be the first finale that somebody had gone
true.
off.
When I said
So
to Ryan right before he picked, though, like it was like such a because I had literally been crying all day. My head felt so foggy. I didn't eat. I slept like 2 hours the night before. Like it was just like trauma. Like yeah, you could see it. My eyes were puffy like that night. But so then like it starts and we watch like the same intro we've always watched. I know like every word, like I can like mimic like and say everything that Slade's saying in his car and like Mark jumping. Like I just play by play knew it. And I was like, oh my God, it's the last time we're doing this. And then it was the intro of the 3 of us. And it was so cute. And then I was crying because I was just like, oh my God. And then we were playing the comp and I was like literally rooting for them and like and in that moment, I thought I'd vote for Erica. It was the first time all day. I had already prepared a speech telling her I wasn't going to vote her in my jury questioning. I was going to say, I don't want to hear a word from either of you. I've heard enough of what both of you have to say. You won't be saying anything here. I guess I'll vote for the person who's not trying to claim my moves. That was going to be my jury. I've already told Erica this. But then I didn't have like a yeah. But then in that moment when they were playing the comp, I was like, I'm gonna vote for Erica to win.
Mm.
I changed my mind right there. And I was like, like sentimental and like
yeah.
and then fucking
Ryan. Well, and then the shock.
My
literally,
reaction to that was big.
It was. You had a big reaction. Our production chat blew the fuck up.
Sure.
Like we were like, what just happened? Because
I had nothing.
We had no idea.
Nothing. There was a 0% chance I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
Yeah. But girl, you put on one of the best.
You ever think how good it would have been if I would have prepared?
I know. Well, and that's for sure. Like, but like your final jury questioning was spectacular. Like for lack of any other words, it was just absolutely spectacular. You came across as incredibly genuine and like thoughtful and like just true to yourself and true to the game that you had played. And yeah, it was really incredible to watch you recover
I
from
have
that.
a note somewhere. I'm trying to find it. I have like the little tiny piece of paper where I wrote because I was so annoyed when Ryan was answering his question. That's the only question somebody was like, Angelica, you seem to be reacting to. I don't who was it? Daniel, maybe? Like, do you want to respond? And
I
that's
think
when I
it was Lance.
yeah, it was because Ryan was like, I just want to work with the new people. I didn't want them to be underestimated, like all that stuff. And I had a response. But look, this is while he was speaking, I wrote it down because I was like, I gotta say this as soon as somebody lets me. But that's like the terrible, like, I wrote Ryan quote, I don't need alliances. Like I was just writing little notes to myself for like when I came up. Oh my god.
It was really good. From your perspective, how, like, what did you, as you were in final jury questioning, like, did you perceive that it was going
I
well?
was really hazy about like specific examples from the game. Like, well, in this round when blah 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 happened, like that's what I wish I would have prepared myself for.
Mm,
And to like really hit those points. But I felt like it was going well and like the jury always had a good reaction to what I had to say. Because I was in a final two before, the only other org final two I was in, like as the jury came in, I was like, oh, they don't like me. Like, woo! Like, you know what I mean? Like, which it was like that didn't go bad either. I think I worked really hard there. But like here, I felt like I was getting a very positive feedback. And so
yeah.
it was just like hyping me up more as it went along. Like even when Daniel came in, he was like, he said something to Ryan like, "Whoa, you're taking credit for something that's not true. Angelica, you had a miss." And I was like I don't know. That was like everyone was kind of doing that in their own way.
Yeah. So I'll ultimately, like, you receive 4 votes. You receive a vote from AJ, from Erica, from Robert, and from Courtney. Were you surprised at any of the votes that you did not receive?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 more than 3.
Fair enough.
The 2 I thought I had Jack and Danielle.
Mm-hmm. So do we. So do we.
Danielle, I love you, but do not tell someone an hour later that you just changed your mind last minute. I was like, no, not right now. That was like too soon. Like that was not it. I was like, what?
Like, what do you mean, girl?
Look at yourself, baby girl. At least for like a day. Yeah, that was rough. But either way, I don't know. I think Ryan. I guess I took me a few days. You think Ryan performed very well? His jury, he prepared a lot for. He probably prepared a lot for a lot in this game, like comms and stuff, mostly. Practicing face morphs, like fucking psychopath. Uh, he had a great jury performance. It was hard for me to accept that because he was lying. There were certain things where it's like that. He's like literally straight up lying about things and being like, and I never lied. Which like that's what you do. It's a game of manipulation.
Right.
I get it. Like that was hard.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was playing more like defense at a point, which makes you look like the lesser competitor. I was very aware of that. Like, stop just taking shots at Ryan, talk about yourself. But he would say things and Ryan also knows me and the way I react to those things. So I wonder how intentional sometimes that was. Like,
Mm.
we're like, I was gonna respond and not talk about myself, like, I don't know. But like that's it. That's what
Yeah.
happens. It's all right.
It is, and it's a
He's
game,
a
and
little
and and
shit, but he's a good one. He's good at it. He's all right.
yeah. And I felt like, I mean, I know that it was hard to lose, but I felt like you took it so well. Like at
Numb.
least
I cried for 24 hours before it. If I wouldn't have had that full day before, I think it would have been a lot. If I would have like prepared my speech, been like, I'm about to win, and like I think I would have had like this like, but like I was getting third all day.
Yeah.
Like it happened, and I was like, oh yeah, like, and then like the next day, I think is when it just like
it was more hard because I mean, on the reunion you were like very, very chipper, very like talkative, and yeah.
I just most strategic. Second most social does not win the social strategy game. It was hard. What could I have done? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, production gave you your roses, like, and sometimes that's not
usually
enough.
like when I read a VL after a game, it's like this crazy person. I mean, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Anyone can tell you. Like, I usually am like the like literal clown emoji of the game. So it felt good to not have that experience. So it's all good. It just was hard in the moment.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I've been there, so I get it.
I just think I need a break.
Yeah.
End games are like a mind fuck. Like play like it's almost I don't know. You better have like, a solid mental state if you're gonna get to an end game and lose. That's like Final Four on. I don't know. That happens to a lot of people.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Anyway, it was great.
Did you have a good experience overall?
Yes.
Good. And that's ultimately so glad.
There's always going to be the highs with the lows, especially for this one in a game. Hello. I think I had my first confessional after I lost it. I was like, hello. It was me. But this was the best experience.
Good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you have a lot of supporters. No, you have a lot of supporters in our community. You have a lot of love for you. I hope you've seen it. I hope you've been able to experience it, and I hope you
the letters from home were that always do that. That's so nice. That's a great thing.
It was a great touch.
What idea was that?
It was Dan's.
Have you guys ever done that before? It was Dan's. That's yes.
So someone hold on, let's see. Remember in the beginning with you when Angelica had that strategy to downplay her win equity by being hated by everyone. Mitchell, you laughed at that strategy in the end. At morning tea, but it worked. Who is this? Who are you? Did I laugh at that? I don't know. Did I? I don't know. I may have said I didn't think it was
works for me.
Yeah. I don't remember. I won't retroactively say what I did or didn't do because I don't remember. Oh, it was Robert. Robert, link your StreamYard.
Hi, Robert.
Hello, Robert. Anything else that you want to?
No, it was great.
Say or
no, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good cast. Like it's all a testament to a good cast. Even like not having to play that game, like not having to be like, well, they just hate me enough. They think I'll never win and I can get to the end. Like not having to do that because like, no, I wasn't like singled out for playing too hard or too or whatever in the beginning because everyone was like of a high caliber.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone was playing very well. So like you weren't standing out for things. Like, I don't know. And that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to host you, to get to know you.
It's over.
What?
I can't believe it's over.
I know it's over.
Yeah.
But you know what? And this last hour has been so fun to talk through your game.
I'm glad you didn't tell me I attempted to go left, but could not.
I could always throw one in there for old times.
Nightmares.
It might actually make you rage quit.
That's the one comp I almost quit. I was just like, I'm not doing this. Not doing this.
Well, that wraps up our BBH 14 interview series, our exit interview series. It has been
Congratulations, Ryan Taylor.
yes, congratulations to
I
Ryan.
didn't say that night. Congratulations.
But you know, y'all, that might be the last thing for Big Brother Hometowns 14 for a while. So we're taking a break and we'll be around. We'll be doing some stuff, some games, we'll be doing some other things, some other streams, but you won't see us for a while. So but you never know what might be coming around the corner. Goodbye, everybody.